Hey everybody, my name is Noah. Welcome back to the show. And as you can see, I'm making a bit more of a chill video today. Sometimes I like making videos where I just kind of talk to the camera and give my thoughts rather than like trying to play this character. Because believe it or not, yeah, I'm not actually that loud or obnoxious in real life. So today, I wanted to talk about the Dexit thing. If you can't tell, my family's here. Which is actually another reason for the more chill video. I don't like being super loud while they're here. Where should I start? So I mentioned Dexit in the Monster Mashup, which name is still placeholder. And I honestly can't remember if I gave my my own opinions on the situation or not. I feel like I kind of just brought it up and didn't really go any deeper with it. So as you all know, Game Freak announced that Sword and Shield is not going to have the entire roster of Pokemon that they've made throughout the years, and instead they're going to put in, we don't know the exact numbers, but a lot of people have estimated like 600 because Sun and Moon had 400, Ultra Sun and Moon had 500, so we're saying like 600 possibly. Personally, I'm not too upset over that. I'll get into more about my thoughts on it later, but personally I'm not too upset over the fact that I won't be able to transfer Pokemon into Sword and Shield because I don't really transfer Pokemon all that much. Sorry if you see a lot of hair changes, my hair is being a little cunt and I have to adjust it like every 5 minutes. Plus the fact that my favorite Pokemon, Lucario, is confirmed to be in Sword and Shield, I'm not bothered. But that leads into other things that do bother me. Now I'm gonna get this out, in the video onto the internet right now. For the time being, I am saying I will skip Sword and Shield. At first they said that it was because, there's a lot of Pokemon and we're only going to get new Pokemon as we go down the line. So eventually, we will have to make it so that not all Pokemon are going to be available in this game. And they're correct. Like, that's 100% reasonable. Dexit was kind of inevitable. Eventually, we were going to get to the point where they're not going to be able to model and code every Pokemon into a single game. There are just far too many of them, and we're only going to get more. This seems like a weird spot to do it in. You know what I mean? Because they already have all the modeling and textures and animations from Pokemon X and Y. They just need to import all of that into Sword and Shield and fucking problem solved. You just have to do animations for the new moves. You have to do modeling, texturing, and animations for the new Pokemon, and then once you've done that, you're good. Like, you just code them into the game. Then we found out from a Japanese article that somehow the X and Y models weren't imported correctly or something like that. Like they just wouldn't go into Sword and Shield, so they had to make all new models. And then a lot of people were saying like, oh well, that's a mistranslation, it's it's in Japanese, it was translated weird. And then another piece of news came out that when they were doing Dynamax Pokemon, instead of, scaling up the models, what most game developers would do, they made entirely new models for Dynamax. I think if Game Freak just stuck to Mega Evolution, I think a lot of people would be really happy. And then I read something about how Game Freak only has 147 employees. I'm like, bro, I think DE has more employees than that. They could afford to hire on new people. Like, their lowest, for God's sake, their lowest selling game in the entire franchise still made like $640 million. Their budget, on average, for every single Pokemon game is only like $20 million, which, don't get me wrong, 20 million, quite a lot of money. But when you compare it to like Activision or Bungie or Rockstar, who are spending like hundreds of millions of dollars on their games, that's not a whole lot. Especially because, like I said, their lowest selling game in the entire franchise made $640 million. For context, the most expensively produced game in all of history is Destiny, which cost them $500 million to make. Now, granted, a lot of that was marketing. In fact, I think a majority of that was marketing. but it's still money that they had to spend to make the game and sell it and all that stuff. Game Freak could easily make a game for more than that and still get a guaranteed profit. I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they have to break that record, but just like 100 mil for a game budget, you would still make an absurd profit off of that. And with $100 million, you could afford to hire on new people. You know, take the burden off your employees a little bit, and hire on new people to do different things. Hell, if they just hired like 500 people and assigned 2 Pokemon or 3 Pokemon per person for modeling, textures, and high quality animations, and I'm gonna get to that. If they did that for Sword and Shield, it would probably be like one of the highest rated games in history. And then at some point, Game Freak said that the reason they're cutting some of the Pokemon out of the Galar Pokedex, they wanted to dedicate more time and effort into higher quality models and higher quality animations. See where I'm getting back to that? Do you even watch your own trailers? These aren't very high quality animations. Blastoise is still shooting water out of its forehead. Charizard is still shooting fire from left of his head. You know what I mean? Double Kick is still just a hop. Of course, these are the common ones. There are a few moves in the game that have extraordinary animations, like Corviknight's move with like the green energy. I don't know, I forget what it's called. But that one move that Corviknight did in one of the trailers where he was enveloped in green energy and just like shot forward. That animation's really cool. And then there was this move that Scorbunny did. I'm assuming it's a signature move, I'm not 100% sure. Where he enveloped himself in fire and then like charged forward really quickly and kicked the opponent with on some Natsu shit. And that's a really good animation. But then other animations like the Wingull T-posing and the double kick and the flamethrower and the hydro pump. If you want to, that's perfectly fine. You go get Sword and Shield. All power to you. But me personally, as always, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I hope to see you all next time. Next video is probably going to be a little bit more high energy. This is Niall, signing out.